Today, we are gonna do a high hydration 1 kilo mix on the Ooni Halo Pro Spiral Mixer. I read a lot of your comments on my last video, and we're gonna try to cover a bunch of those things, starting with what does a minimum batch look like at 1 kilograms? In my opinion, if you want to fully stress test a mixer, you should see it at its high hydration, you should see it at its minimum batch size, and you should see it at its maximum batch size, all right? Let's get it done. I have my recipe here, and I had ChatGPT scale my recipe down. It's actually a pretty cool thing that you can do. You just tell it what hydration you want, how much your end result will be. In this case, I said 4 dough balls at 250 grams at 80% hydration. And it led me with 547 grams of flour, 438 grams of water, 14 grams of salt, and then 0.3 grams of instant dry yeast. So this is about 50% ice. It's gonna get hot up in here because it's a small dough size. I just wanted to check my mic in case you saw my eye twitch a little bit. I want to make sure that I'm recording audio because it is April 7th as of recording this, and the Ooni Halo Pro launches tomorrow. So yes, if you're a high hydration dough mixer, if you only mix 1 kilogram of dough at a time, this video is for you. Yes, sir, yes, ma'am. We're gonna pour in all of our water here, which is about 50% of 438 grams. We're gonna pour in our yeast, and we're gonna pour in our flour. And we're gonna power it on, and while it mixes, I'll walk you through what's going on in the mix and answer some of the questions that we had in the last video. So you wanna start off your mix at a very low percentage. In this case, I'm at 10%, or RPM, which is revolutions per minute. And what's going on here is when you mix it at a slow rate, you are basically moving the ingredients together. You could spin it on high. It's not gonna do much at such a small volume of dough, flour, and yeast and salt because there isn't a lot of ingredients. But if you were essentially to fill this up to its max capacity of 5 kilogram dough batch, if you start mixing on super high, your ingredients might fly everywhere. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take the camera off from tripod to here on occasion, or maybe I'll just use my phone and stitch it in. Let's go ahead and do that. But as you can see right here, the dough is making contact with the spiral, although what we'll see later is that there will be times when the mixer is going and it's not really doing a lot. You'll understand what I mean by that later on. Let's go ahead and while people are asking, let's go ahead and answer some of the questions that people had in the last comment section. Is it already released? No, releasing tomorrow, April 8th. So if you're watching this when it's released, yeah, it's released. I had a lot of negative comments between the famag in the back there versus this. Honestly, work on your problems. I had so many things to say, I just don't know if I can say them out loud. I'm gonna go ahead and crank this up and get it moving a little bit faster and start adding a little bit of ice because we need the ice to melt, but we also want the dough to stay cold because at 80%, it's gonna get really hot in there. What are the measurements of the Ooni Halo Pro? I can't find that information. Okay, y'all ready? 14.6 kilograms, 342 millimeters height, 252 millimeters wide, and 436 millimeters in depth. It's not a big machine, but it'll do the job. What is the Ooni Halo Pro made of? Aluminum and glass. I believe it's die-cast aluminum if I'm not mistaken, and the bowl is made of stainless steel. Die-cast aluminum body. So yes, when I did this little thing here, different material. But with that, I think by making this an aluminum body, it makes it so much lighter, which greatly affects how much this product costs to ship to the US, to anywhere really, right? And that's part of the problem with some of these heavier mixers, is that the freight, oh my goodness, I imagine can cost an arm and a leg. So what Ooni is really trying to do here is position themselves to the serious home baker looking to make a lot of dough, not a crazy amount for commercial use, and not a tiny amount for just like the person who's making one pizza at a time, but that in-betweener, right? And wants to make it as affordable as possible, hence the size, hence the materials. But so far, after making, I don't know, gosh, probably like close to 30 batches with this, that is no cap. I was just in a Ooni Halo demo in LA where we made at least 20 batches. This thing can stand up. What you're hearing right now is ice being shuffled around, getting stuck underneath the hook. Let's go ahead and get a video of this right here. But yeah, it's coming together, but it is nowhere near completely looking like a big old dough ball. What's gonna happen is the ice is gonna melt. I'm gonna go ahead and just add a little bit more ice because it's gonna be taking some time here. I'll reserve the rest of the ice for when I drop the salt in. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and bump this thing up. What's gonna happen is the ice is gonna melt with all of that friction and it's gonna start coming together. But you can see this table is not stable at all. But when I hold it down, it does okay. This does have some movement towards it, but it's at 60%, which is 225 RPMs, which is generally the second speed of a traditional mixer, a traditional spiral mixer. But I have a feeling this dough is gonna come out beautifully. I'm not gonna cut any of this. You'll see the timestamp from start to finish, just give you an estimate of how long it took. But the real key of this mixer is essentially the 345 RPMs. That is fast. That is really fast. And once the ice has melted and we kick this onto high gear, I think you're gonna be surprised at how quickly that all came together. All right, let's keep reading your questions here in the comments section. It doesn't have a reverse speed. Yes, a reverse speed can be good for Biga, especially when incorporating a more gentle mix. I'll give it that. But that's not to say you can't do a Biga only dough with just one speed, one direction rather. So yes, it doesn't have a reverse speed, but oh well. It's not like I ever use it, but out of fairness, I don't really do Biga. So take it for what it is. But how was the dough? Well, stick around to the very end and you will find out. What are my thoughts of the control dial on the control dial? Will it last? Can any flour or dirt get trapped in the gaps? That's a good question, because flour gets everywhere. I don't know. But what I can say is I'd imagine, I'm trying to see here. It looks like, interestingly enough, there's flour underneath the dial, but where it meets contact with the glass, there isn't any. What I did find out was this glass here is an anti-fingerprint glass similar to the iPhone, the technology that they use there. Actually, you know what I found out recently? Y'all get to be a part of history here. I didn't take off the glass. Oh man, check that out. So now that is the anti-fingerprint similar to the iPhone. Yes, you do still see fingerprints, but much like the iPhone, it's kind of minimal. I didn't take out the plastic on any of them, so you're in for a treat. Oh yeah, buddy. Yeah, and no, I am not the type of Filipino who keeps all the plastic on everything, even though my relatives and my ancestors are very guilty of that. Let's go ahead and check in on the dough. You can see it looks like mush. The ice has not fully melted yet, but once it starts to come together, I'll go ahead and add the remaining ice. But I'm gonna go ahead and crank this puppy up. Let's go. So we're at top speed right now. Most of the ice, I'm gonna hold down this table so it shakes less. Yeah, buddy. All right, let's continue on with removing of the plastic so you can get a real glimpse of what this thing is supposed to look like. And in my opinion, the design, super sexy compared to the Famag, right? And I'm not just saying that because I got this spiral mixer for free, that I'm an Ooni ambassador, blah, 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 blah. Suck it, really. This is a much sexier product. The glass, this body. All right, what other questions did you all have? This looks like a great answer to a KitchenAid replacement. Yes, 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 yes. And out of fairness, I couldn't really speak on that because I haven't had a KitchenAid in like 4 or 5 years. I just used one when I was in LA after the dough demo, and it was comical how I had to hold the mixer down so that it wouldn't jump on the table and wouldn't pop its top off. Literally, it looks like the dough hook was gonna pop its top off because of how weak it was. Yeah, crazy. Let's see here. Yeah, the rest of these comments are just like haters. It's so funny. So, looking at this dial back, I don't know if it's gonna get stuck in there. I doubt if what you're thinking is like, will the flour get in between the glass and like kind of look like you put a screen protector over your phone and there was a little bit of dust. I don't think that's gonna happen here. If it were, and I'm not gonna pop off this control dial and find out for us, but if it were to happen, the hole is so small and the dial is so big that any flour that could potentially get stuck under there would be completely covered. So I don't think it's gonna be an issue. It's loud and the bowl shakes a lot at full speed. I don't know what the dB is. Someone did ask. Yeah, it's shaking, but it's also on a not so steady table. So take that with a grain of salt. Someone wrote the heavier the better. I could see that going. I could see that having a benefit to shaking. But this isn't bad. And this is the Ooni modular table. This is an Ooni modular table. Let's remember that. Okay. Can you do a review mixing at 60% hydration? Honestly, follow the same exact steps, but you'll be done at like a third of the time, just because 60% will just come together like butter in like, I don't know, 5 to 7 minutes, depending on your flour. How much dough can you make with the Ooni Halo Pro? 5 kilogram max, which at 250 grams is what, 20 dough balls? No, hold on. Yeah, 20 dough balls. That's enough for a significant little pizza party you got going there. I have a IR thermometer. We're gonna go ahead and check that out. Check out the temperature. I bet it's still super cold. which is what we want. 25 Celsius. Oh no, 25 Fahrenheit. Yeah. -4 Celsius. So it's super cold, but we're at 23 degrees right now. And it's starting to look like this. Again, this is super wet dough, but it's gonna come together and you're gonna see a significant change in heat. Anyhow, it's gonna take a minute for us, so maybe I will cut it. I don't know, it's gonna be a long time. 80% hydration is no joke. But also, I probably could have helped the situation had I not dumped all the ice in at once. At least it wouldn't have given y'all a show to see the dough come together and then add a little bit of water and blah, 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 blah. But honestly, we'll really stress test this thing and see how long it can take. So maybe I won't cut it. But anywho, thinking back to the Ooni demos that I did do in LA, I worked with basically novices to pro bakers, and they all seem to love this. Granted, they're all influencers and are just like super appreciative to be here, but even for the people who baked as pros, they loved the convenience of this machine, how easy it was, how compact it was. Because look, this thing is huge. It is huge, and it's hard to move around. I was only able to move this. This would actually sit right here. Super easy to move. And I think Ooni was very intelligent when they crafted this size. Easy enough for me to carry, and it's not a pain in the butt. But going back to the LA demos, they loved how convenient it was to mix. They loved how simple it was. They loved the design. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think you can go wrong if you have been in the market for a mixer of this footprint. I mean, it makes anywhere from 4 dough balls to 20 dough balls at 250 grams, which for me is anywhere from like a 10 to 12 inch pizza, depending on how thick you want. That is solid. If you're a home baker, if you're an enthusiast, if you're doing test batches, this is the one. Let me tell you a story. I did a dough demo in Vegas, so if you were there or you watched the other video, you'll probably hear the story, but like, I was watching the Bon Appetit video with L'Industrie, and they basically put out their entire recipe on a freaking piece of paper, and I was like, oh, I need to get me some Petra flour. And there are so many times where I just want to play. There are so many times where I just want to play. Let me try to make a L'Industrie dough. Let me try to make 100% hydration dough. No, I mean, I've only tried that one time. But like, in order for me to play on this at 1 kilo, it has a really hard time because the bowl is so big. And sure, I could have gone a smaller mixer, but this I was trying to use for my catering events. If I want to just try to develop a recipe small, 1 kilogram batch, this is going to be my go-to for sure, for sure. When I'm creating content, when I just want to make a pizza for myself, this is the go-to. All right, let's do a little dough update. Yo, starting to come together, but it still has a really long time. Let's do a temperature check. 39 degrees. It jumped, yo. It jumped. Let's see here, what else? Price is $7.99. Look, if you're looking to grab one, there's a link in the description of this channel. It's my affiliate link. I just want to say thank you. You already know what an affiliate link is. If you don't, I get a commission if you buy. It doesn't change the price at all, but I just want to say thank you for using it. I don't even know how much commission I get, but as someone who loves the brand, I just want to say thank you for associating me with your purchase, because that to me is saying, like, good job. Good job for sharing this information to people who could use it, which then helps them make a more informed buying decision. There was a time where I donated my affiliate commission because really it was just like, I was proud to do the work. I was proud to put amazing freaking products out there in front of your eyes. Now I've quit my job full time and I'm doing pizza full time with content, so I could use the money, don't get me wrong. But at the heart of it, that's a huge thank you for me putting out this content and just using the affiliate link. So again, you use that affiliate link in the show notes, I get a small commission, but more importantly, it's a huge thank you for putting out content like this. So let's go. Yeah, it was super interesting to go from 24 to 36, 12 degrees, not very long, but we were cranking at 345. We were going. I can't wait to show you this dough. It's gonna look so buttery and smooth. It is gonna look so buttery and smooth. Also, here's a cool little trick that I learned recently. If your dough starts to get a little too hot because you didn't plan for the ice, you didn't do the bassonage technique and just adding water little by little, you didn't auto-lease, whatever the case may be. I saw, and I'll give credit to Noel Broner of Slow Rise Pizza, he used safely dry ice along the mixer bowl and just held it right here to keep it cool. I don't think you need dry ice. You could probably do the same sort of you could probably have the same sort of effect by just using ice packs. And you don't have to get special equipment to hold dry ice. You don't need special equipment to hold ice packs up to here. Yeah, it still might be cold, so you probably could use gloves. But man, that's smart. You essentially just want to keep the dough bowl cold so that your dough doesn't overheat. What a cool little trick, man. So if you're not on Instagram to learn about pizza tips like that, why are you sleeping? Follow me at What's Good Dough. Let's continue the conversation there, or leave a comment and let me know what you think of the video so far. And when we're done doing the mix, I'll show you all the dough. I won't do it from my phone here, but you can sort of see something of more volume coming together. Oh yeah. Oh freaking yeah. In the future, will we get something that can do 400 or 500 RPM? That would be sick, yo. Huh. That would be sick. But yeah, it's coming together. Where are we at here? 37, 39 degrees is jumping. Where do I want to be as a final mix? Honestly, it depends on what you plan to do. If you're gonna refrigerate right away, you can get away with 80 degrees. Generally speaking, you want to be somewhere between 70 and 75 if you're gonna do some of that room temperature proof. If it's too cold, it's not the end of the world either. You can just leave it out in room temperature for a bit and let the yeast activate a little bit and do its thing. I found in the past that if I mixed cold and then went straight into the fridge, I don't know if this was happenstance, but it would increase my chance of seeing these little brown spots on my dough. I hear that's the germ, but I hear, yeah, I don't know what exactly it was, but I noticed that it stopped appearing when I gave it a little bit more of a room temperature fermentation before putting it in the fridge, especially if the dough is cold. We haven't added the salt yet. I'm gonna do that last. But I have here this pink salt, Redmond's. You can get it from Central Milling, super flavorful. Here, let's get a close-up of this. Yo, check that out. Basically, it has a bunch of minerals in it, and it just gives it a stronger pop. Wifey's calling, give me a second. Hello? Oh, yeah, I can make you some food. No, I was gonna make some chicken quesadillas. All right. No rush. Okay, love you. Wife was calling. I try to answer when I can. But I'm probably gonna leave that in because I want you all to see how long it takes. Honestly, I think this would have been a much faster mix had I done the Bossa Notch technique, but at this point, it is what it is. It also would have been a much faster mix had we had more volume in the mixer to incorporate. But at the end of the day, we'll be okay. All right, since we have some time, I'm gonna go ahead and check out some of the videos that were put out by other YouTubers and answer some of their questions. Let's see here. Ooni should make an airtight lid for the bowl. Honestly, that's not a bad idea. I think that this is sufficient though, depending on how long you're gonna proof. But even this little hole here for the water spout, it's not gonna let in a ton of air compared to the Famag's grill. It'll let in a little bit of air, but I don't think it'll leave too much. By the way, this is Tom Voyage's video, so if y'all are wondering who it is, this is it. It's funny because he has haters too. I love it. Gosh, it's loud. The make or break it for appliances like this is if it's repairable or not. Yo, check this out. For those of you who didn't see it in my last video, 1 year warranty, but if you register your product, 5-year warranty. Come on. I've had this thing for about 4 years. It's still going strong, but my warranty's out. I had a warranty for 3 years. So I have 5 years, owning it for $175 a year, assuming it craps out of you one day after 5 years, it's still gonna save you so much time. And I doubt it's gonna crap out after 5 years because these things go through extreme stress testing. You'll stick with a KitchenAid bouncing around at 700 pounds? Yo, I don't know. I don't know about that. Having tried a KitchenAid, it just like literally Friday, and I'm recording this on Monday. The KitchenAid was whack. $400 for a KitchenAid versus $800 for this. Here's the thing. If you're serious about pizza, this is a much more ideal tool in the kitchen. Seriously, like no comparison. And I'm not just saying that. Like that's the reason why I upgraded to this. But now they're making a spiral mixer that is smaller and priced more competitively than something like this. All right, let's go see another one. There's one in Denmark that somebody posted. All right, let's go, let's go, let's go. "45 degrees Fahrenheit. Almost doubled since we first checked. Crazy. Well, of course, the German one or Denmark or one from Denmark, I don't know what it is, .de. I guess I can translate all the comments to English. Someone said they wanted it a size smaller. Bruh. I think 5 kilos is perfect. I think 1 kilo mix, perfect. If you could go slightly smaller, you would then limit the max capacity size. I wouldn't take that trade. I would not take that trade. Let's see here. I think it'd be interesting to talk about, oh wow, the table's moved a lot. Again, not a sturdy table to begin with, not a heavy table, super light. One of my biggest things when I first got my spiral mixer 3 years ago, was like, am I over mixing? Honestly, you're probably not. When is it done? For me, it's done when I'm hearing multiple consistent pops. It's like the dough is talking to you. The big thing that you're looking out for is making sure that the dough isn't overheating. Because that to me is harder to reverse. Like if you're getting up to like 85 to 90 and you're still not done, it's like, bruh. Take that down a few degrees. And really just patience, right? You're mixing for the first time and you really don't know, like, is this thing working? How come it's not coming together? Crap, it's already so hot and it still looks like slop. It just takes a little bit of practice, but that's why I recommend using a lot of cold water. Because even though this has the spiral function that will help it not heat up as fast, as you can see, the mixer's been going on for a really long time. Super long time. It's still not done on a higher hydration dough. So when you start playing with 70%, 72, 74, 75, 80%, it's gonna, and you're not used to that, it's gonna get hot. And so knowing how much ice to put in is really gonna make or break your sweat and your dough and your stress levels when you're mixing for the very first time. And I'm making a conscious effort to really continually check this. 46 degrees, it's just going up. And we are still whipping. We are still whipping. 1 kilogram batch, 80% hydration. We are working this thing. We are working this thing a lot. This is not your typical mix, but I cannot wait to show you this dough. It is gonna be so smooth and sexy. It's gonna look sick. Because my wife's coming home and I gotta feed her, I don't know that we're gonna have time to do a 5 kilo mix to show you all how it looks. We might, we'll see. Pray that 345 RPMs is fast enough. I don't know about you, but I'm getting a little dizzy watching this thing. Let's see here. What can we talk about? Oh, y'all like this new setup, by the way, compared to the last one? This was my sign from Pizza Expo. I went to the Las Vegas Pizza Expo like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, and I recorded a podcast. We decided let's let people around us know what the show's about, why people are sitting in front of a mic and talking about pizza. So we created this. Sick. It has I have 2 posters because it's a double-sided sign. We got the Ooni Volt here. Goodness. Electric ovens is the way to go. I actually want to get a second one because my daughter and I make pizza in the kitchen, and I've been moving this Volt from here to there, and I kind of just want to keep it stationary. Plus, when I start doing pop-ups at the house, I really want to go full electric if possible. It's a little bit more expensive in terms of electricity, and it's also like limiting in terms of like the size I can make, but the bake is so much nicer, so much tighter. I have the FAMAG right here, which I will be using for my commercial use during pop-ups. I have a couple of fridges down here. I have this water station. I noticed recently when I was making sausage pizza that I would put the sausage on, walk to my kitchen, and wash my hands to finish cooking, and I was like, I'm so done with that. So I have this water jug, and I have this big old bucket to capture water, and I'll just dump it when I'm done, clean it out. But it beats having to wash my hands multiple times, especially when I'm like really cranking in here. Like I usually make anywhere from like 4 to 6 pizzas at a time whenever I'm baking. And goodness, if I'm like, I know the haters in the comments might be saying something about that. Again, not stable dough, not stable table. If I'm making 4 to 6 pizzas and I'm constantly washing my hands, it's just gonna take so much time. So this was a good setup. And yeah, I love these Ooni modular tables. It allows for extra storage on the bottom for flour, for miscellaneous things. Super cool. All right, y'all. I reckon this has another 15 minutes. Yeah, you might be here for a minute. We're at 48 degrees Fahrenheit, y'all. And we still have to add the salt and this ice water. The good news is the water is already melted. So really what we're gonna do is like once the dough starts to come together, that's when I'll add the salt and the remaining water. But salt gets in the way of gluten development, but it actually helps strengthen the dough in a weird way. So it has this this dual effect on dough. So what we're gonna try to do is get the dough to come together sooner, but the salt will also help the dough hold its shape. If you've ever made dough and forgot to put the salt in, which I have done more times than I'd like to admit, what you end up getting is a dough that is like very loose, easy to push out, and honestly puffs up really quickly. And the dough helps really strengthen it. But as you're developing gluten, supposedly the salt gets in the way of that, which is why you add it towards the end. What else? What else? What else? My last setup here, if you see any of my Instagram videos, I didn't have these two tables here. Follow at What's Good Dough, by the way. I didn't have these two tables here. And I recognize that A, I need a space for washing, and then B, I need some space for storing ingredients that aren't being used in the content currently. I'm just very happy with the setup. Initially, I didn't want these tables so I could pass through freely on this side, but seeing how I just have to go in and out one way, so much easier. It's like, it's not bad. I'll take that for the trade. I'll trade that storage for the ease of access any day. Plus, realistically speaking, you want to right? You want to make, you want to bake, and then you want to serve. And that's like, to me, the ideal setup is a triangle like that, or that 1, 2, 3. And for me, it was like make, bake, serve, clean up, make. No. So this is like a much better setup in my opinion. Could I do better with 2 Ooni tables in my setup? I probably could, yeah. Will I upgrade to those one day? Maybe, we'll see. For now, I'll use what I got. I will use what I got. All right. Look, going back to some of the haters in the comments about this being an ad, about us being salesmen showing off the product, fine. Let's go ahead and tear this apart a little bit. A, heavier mixer, probably better for less shaking. I will give it that. I can't even lift this thing. Solid construction. The versatility in this, if you wanted to like step up your pizza game, I think the 10, the IM10 can still go on a countertop. So you can make a 10 kilo batch, no problem, one mix, good to go. A reverse function for the Biga users, fine, I will give you that. I will say, for safety, this will turn off while mixing, so you can stick your hand in there and that won't be moving. I'm not gonna find out. I'm not gonna FOFO, a term I learned recently. I'm not gonna FOFO and stick my hand in there while it's mixing. But these guys don't want you to stick your hand in there while it's mixing. So don't do it. Not something I would recommend at all. Let's see here. Anything else? If there is like one other thing I can say about Famag, and I'm gonna show you the dough soon because it is coming together, is that they have been in the spiral mixer game for way longer than Ooni has. That said, Ooni has a huge brand to protect. And so the chances of them giving a crappy product on the first go like this after being in business for so long seems very unlikely. Okay, so hopefully that was anti-salesman enough for some of y'all in the comments. The dough, it looks like it's coming together. Maybe for the untrained eye, it doesn't look like that. But you can definitely tell There's more gluten there, and it's not so pancakey. You can definitely see it's becoming more of a solid, and you can see that it's sticking to the breaker bar, and that is a good sign. You can also see a mass forming where the hook is, where the hook is. That's a good sign, showing that it's absorbing more and more water, and it's becoming more like mass-like versus batter-like. Oh yeah. So that little area right there, hopefully I was pressing record. That little area right there where the hook is, it's coming together as a mass. It's becoming bigger and bigger. It's sticking to the breaker bar a little bit more, showing that there's a little bit more gluten development. Pretty soon it's gonna come together. And you can kind of see this little slap thing right here going on. It like slaps the breaker bar. That's when you know things are coming together. It's gonna be doing a lot of that later because the dough ball volume is so small. But anyhow, this is going. Let's get a temperature check on the hook. Usually that's the hottest part. 61, the hook. The dough, 55. 55. 57. Will I hit a 75-degree DDT? I don't know. It's getting there. We were at 24 earlier, something like that, and now it's at 57. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, this is such a hard mix to do. I hope people recognize that, especially the haters. It's not only a small dough, it's also a high hydration dough. And I also made it harder for myself because I didn't bassonage as much. I could have reserved a little bit more water, but whatever. For those of you just sitting here watching paint dry, you and I are in it together. I was not hoping it took this long. Out of fairness, I should have known. But it's gonna be a minute. It's gonna be a minute. There's this YouTuber I watch. He started his short video off with, this is how we're making pickled jalapenos. This is what we're gonna do. Oh, and by the way, how are you doing? How's your health? Are you sleeping well? So, if you're still here, answer that in the comments as well. I'd love to know. I would love to know because I'm sleeping better now. At Pizza Expo, a week and a half ago, not sleeping good at all. Maybe I had too much adrenaline. Maybe I was too stimulated by the smoke in the hotel. But boy, am I catching up on sleep. It feels good. I feel energized. So I hope you are too. While I'm here, I'll share a little bit about my Pizza Expo experience. If you're not familiar, the Pizza Expo is the largest gathering of pizza industry professionals, influencers, even like semi-professional pizza makers, and even home pizza makers. Anyone who really just wants to like nerd out and geek out on pizza is welcome. It's a great time of just eating, seeing like the professional world, seeing some of your favorite pizza makers. Like, I know some of you here know who Vito Iacopelli is. If you're on Instagram, Vincenzo Abate. A lot of Italians fly from Italy over to Vegas to do demos. The American pizza makers that are great, like Tony Gimignani, the good folks at L'Industry, they're all there. So it's really cool to see all of that. And for those of you who don't know, competitions also happen there. And your boy competed as well. It's my second time competing. Last year I competed in the Ooni competition using the Ooni Volt 12. I made a pan pizza, hot chicken pizza, and there were 15 competitors. Your boy got number 1. This year, I decided to try my luck at the traditional division competition. And out of 89 people, your boy got 7th. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, as a semi-pro pizza maker, as an Instagram pizza maker, as an Ooni pizza maker, like that's a huge win. Because you're competing with people who have way more pizza experience than me, who get in way more reps. And 7th out of 89, top 10, we gotta celebrate that. I made a sausage and pepper pizza. In the traditional division, you only get 2 toppings. You have to use a red sauce. After you bake it, you can't put anything on it except for a drizzle of olive oil. And that olive oil can be plain olive oil or infused. So, to make it fit my flavor profiles that I like, I made longanisa, which is a sweet, garlicky Filipino sausage, and pickled serrano peppers. Whew, that stuff was hot. Basically, what I wanted was a hit, a punch of flavor, like right in the nose punch, but like a light tap, you know? Make you tear up a little bit, but not make you cry. And I think I did just that. I am awaiting what the comments were on my pizza. I hope I get some comments. But if I had to guess on what I could improve on, I would have to say that I could probably improve on less flop. I had a little bit of an oven malfunction where I set the oven to the settings that I wanted. And when I got to my oven, someone had changed those settings. So I cooked at a little bit of a cooler temp. My bad. I should have waited. I should have been patient. I panicked. I launched it anyway at a less than ideal temperature. I waited a little bit, but it was not at the ideal temperature that I wanted. And then if there's one other thing that I probably could have improved on, was I could have put less serranos. I think I put more serranos than I practiced with to try to make the pizza more visually appealing. But in doing so, I think I may have overpowered the pizza a bit. It is what it is. You live and you learn. My mentor, Tony Gimignani, said, I have more losses than I have wins. And that's coming from a 13-time world pizza champion. So, go figure, right? Just go up to bat and keep batting. And each time you bat, you learn something. Each time you mix, learn something. Each time you make a pizza, learn something. That's why I'm a firm believer in making pizza and not listening to music. I make more pizza and I mix more dough batches than I do create content. Why? Because I'm super in tune with what I'm doing. Like, yes, I have the camera on right now, and yes, I'm kind of putting on a show. But at the end of the day, I feel like my gains in pizza, the gains that I make in my pizza making skill, come from the time where the camera's not on and it's just me being in tune with the dough, me in tune with my craft, listening to the dough, watching the dough, touching the dough, using all of my senses and being super present. So if you didn't get anything from this high hydration mix other than that, you left with a good piece of advice, I'm hoping. And I really do hope that you enjoy this craft of making pizza as much as I do. For real, for real. All right, look at this. It's coming together. I reckon this is another 5 minutes. It'd be sick if the 15-minute call that I made earlier was correct. But what's gonna happen is the dough is gonna come off the bowl completely. It's gonna make one big mass, and it's gonna make more of that slapping motion right there. Slap, slap, slap. Yeah, it's coming across the breaker bar. I'm excited to see where we are in terms of temperature. 73. We did not make it, fam. It's hot. Yeah, 72, 70. It's okay. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna try to cool it off a bit, add the ice, add the salt, and just call it a day. It's gonna be okay if it's at 80, 85. It's not the end of the world. We'll put it in the fridge. We'll be good to go. It's one dough ball. It's 1,000 grams. It'll cool. It's not the end of the world, but it's almost there. It is almost there. All right. Cool, that cooled it down to 68. Let's go. The salt actually helped bring it together a little bit. That was interesting. Strengthened the dough. Nice. This is looking nice. Oh yeah, baby. It's looking real smooth. Okay, this dough is almost done. We are at 66 after adding the rest of that ice. But wow, 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 wow. Woo, okay, check it out. It's one whole mass. Yo, yo, let's freaking go, man. Let's freaking go. I'm gonna help it out a little bit because that stuff at the bottom of the edges, it's just gonna take a lot longer to take that in, but yo, I can't wait till you see this gluten. I can't wait. Okay, scrape the edges, help it out a little bit. My wife is home, so I wanna try to get this dough out and ready to go. So, it actually came together a little bit better than I had initially anticipated. A lot better, actually. Here, let's pull it out. Woo! Mamma mia. It's still super wet. I'd argue that this could go a little bit longer in terms of gluten development, but let's see if I can get my hands wet here. Pro tip, get your hands wet so that dough doesn't stick to your hands. Oh, Oh yeah. So yeah, I would say that this could go much longer. Slightly longer, not much longer. But here. Oh, here, I got water here. Wash my hands. Yo, that's sick. First time really using the water function when fully needed. I tested it out. I just installed it yesterday, but check it out. Still sticky. A little sticky. But you can see some bubbles forming right there. Honestly, 72 degrees, 70 degrees. It could probably go just a little bit longer. But for the most part, window pane, look at that. Come on, come on, come on. Apologies as my SD card died, but it's basically done. Check this out. Window pane for days. We'll figure out how long it took, but we didn't really, I mean, by the time I cut the mixer, I probably just said a few words before the SD card died, but for the most part, you saw it from start to finish. High hydration mix, 1,000 grams. I'm gonna go make dinner for my wife, but y'all enjoy. Catch me for the next one. If you really want me to do the 5 kilo mix, let me know in the comments below. And if we get enough people to say yes, we'll run it, all right? I appreciate you. I love you. Till next time, peace.